Hello, lovely, and welcome back to Cappuccinos and Confidence with me, Nefe. I'm Nefe Gantoye, confidence coach, accountant, and your reminder that you can be good with money without being hard on yourself. Today, we're continuing Money Confidence Month, and we're talking about budgeting. Now, I know for some people, the word budget immediately makes them want to close the laptop, hide the bank card, order a coffee, and pretend they did not hear me. Because budgeting can sound restrictive. It can sound boring. It can sound like punishment. It can feel like someone saying, right, you have had too much fun. Now you need to sit down and behave. But I want us to gently reframe that today, my loves. Because a budget is not supposed to make your life feel smaller. A budget is supposed to help you feel like a little calmer. A good budget should help you know what is coming in, what is happening with your money, make space for things that matter, and reduce that quiet, humming anxiety of not knowing what is coming next. So today's episode is called How to Create a Budget That Makes You Feel Calm, Not Restricted. We're going to talk about 5 simple parts of a confidence-led budget. There's bills, joy money, savings, debt, and buffer. Because you are not a spreadsheet. You are a whole person, and your budget needs to support your actual life. Part 1. Why budgets feel like punishment. But before we go any further, a quick disclaimer, lovely. This episode is for reflection, personal growth, and general education purposes only. It is not financial advice. I'm speaking as an accountant and confidence coach, but I'm not giving you personalized financial advice. If you need specific support with debt, financial planning, investments, tax, or benefits, please speak to a qualified professional or reputable debt support organization. Okay, now that that's out the way, let's start with why budgeting can feel so uncomfortable. For some people, budgeting does not feel like empowerment. It feels like restriction. It feels like judgment. It feels like having to admit that you have overspent, where you have avoided something, where you have been unclear. It can feel loud and exposing, especially if money is already tender in your life. And because money can be so tied to self-worth, the budget stops being a tool and starts feeling like a character review. So you look at the numbers and suddenly it's not just, I spent more than I planned. It becomes, I'm bad with money, or I should know better, or I'm behind, or I'm irresponsible. But here is the shift I want you to make today. You ready? A budget is not a punishment. A budget is a plan for your peace. It's not there to tell you that you've been bad. It's there to help you see. It's not there to remove all joy. It's there to help you enjoy your money without chaos. Create a budget for the real you. The woman who has bills, the woman who wants joy, the woman who may have debt, the woman who wants to save, the woman who needs a bit of breathing room, and the woman who is learning. That is the version of you we're budgeting for today. Not a robot, not a perfect woman with no feelings and no life. You. Part 2. Budgeting is really about self-trust. At its core, budgeting is about self-trust. It's about being able to say, I know what is coming in. I need to know what is going out. I know what I can spend. I know what I'm choosing to prioritize. I know where I need to be careful. I know what I'm doing next. That is calming. Even if the numbers are not exactly where you want them to be, knowing what is happening is still more powerful than avoiding it, because avoidance creates anxiety. Clarity creates choices, and choices build confidence. Every time you check your money and do not spiral, you build trust with yourself. Every time you pay attention to your bills, you build trust with yourself. Every time you save something, even a small amount, you build trust with yourself. Every time you say no to spending that does not support you, you build trust with yourself. Every time you give yourself guilt-free joy money, you build trust with yourself. That is why budgeting is not just a money habit, it is a confident habit. And I really want to pause here because sometimes we make confidence sound dramatic and glamorous, like it has to arrive in one big shining moment. But often confidence is built in very ordinary, very quiet ways. It is built when we open the banking app instead of avoiding it. It is built when you sit down with the numbers, even if they make you feel uncomfortable. It is built when you choose honesty over performance. That is a tender kind of power, and it matters. I want to tell you about a client of mine. She was a brilliant, high-achieving consultant, but her relationship with money was tender. Every time she looked at her banking app, her heart would race. She felt like she was bad with money because she liked nice things, the dinners, the skincare, the weekend trips, the little beautiful touches that made life feel soft. She had tried those no-spend challenges, and honestly, they felt like a financial starvation diet. She'd be perfect for 10 days, feel miserable and restricted, and then rebel by spending £200 on a spontaneous shopping haul to soothe the stress. Restriction, regret. Restriction, regret. It became a draining cycle. When we sat down together, we realized she was not bad with money. She was just trying to live inside a budget that did not include her actual life. She was budgeting for a robot, not a woman who values connection, beauty, and breathing room. Once we moved her to what I call a soft life budget, one that included her joy money as a non-negotiable part of the plan, the panic started to lift. She did not need to hide from the numbers anymore because the numbers finally had room for her. And that is such an important reflection, lovelies. Sometimes the problem is not that you're failing the budget. Sometimes the budget is failing you. If your plan leaves no space for delight, for real life, for birthdays, for coffees, for tiny resets after a long week, it is probably not a supportive plan. It may look disciplined on paper, but if it creates resentment, secrecy, and stress, it's not building peace, it is building pressure. A confidence-led budget should feel grounding, not punishing, clear, not cruel, structured, but still human. Part 3. The 5-part calm budget. Now let's get practical. A simple, confidence-led budget needs 5 parts. These 5 parts become your framework, your anchors, your way back to clarity when money starts to feel fuzzy or overwhelming. Number 1, bills. This is the money that keeps your life running. Your rent or mortgage, council tax, utilities, phone, internet, insurance, transport, subscriptions you actually use, minimum debt payments, childcare, any regular commitments. These are the things that need to be handled first because they create stability. Knowing your bills are covered gives you emotional safety. It helps you stop guessing. It helps you know, okay, this is what my life currently costs. That sentence alone can be grounding. A lot of money stress comes from vagueness. We sort of know what we owe. We sort of know when things come out, sort of hope it would all work out. But that foggy approach creates a lot of background tension. Naming your bills clearly is one of the first gentle resets you can give yourself. 2, joy money. And I want to stay here for a moment because this is where a lot of budgeting goes wrong. People create budgets that include bills, rent, food, savings, and debt, but they leave no room for being human. No coffee, no dinner, no books, no clothes, no birthday gifts, no date night, no spontaneous little pleasure that makes you feel warm and livable. Of course, you cannot stick to a budget that has no room for your actual life. The point of joy money is permission. When joy money is included in the budget, you can spend it with less guilt. You're not cheating, you're not fading, you're using money for something you intentionally made space for. That change gives everything emotionally. Let me say that again. That changes everything emotionally. I think that's what I meant. It means your budget is no longer a cold set of rules. It becomes a supportive structure, a plan that says, yes, your responsibilities matter, and so does your humanity. 3. Savings. Savings are about safety. They're about options. They're about future you being able to breathe. Saving £5 is still an act of self-trust. Saving £10 is still a decision. Saving a small amount consistently can be more powerful than waiting for the perfect month that never seems to come. One thing I'm doing this year is actually I've got a Monzo account, so I'm doing the savings challenge, which is it's so simple. It's like £1 a day, £3 a day, coming out of your account. But over the year, that's like £600 to £1,200. So, you can start small. It doesn't have to be, like £500 every month. You know what I mean? You can create saving pots for things like emergency fund, annual bills, birthdays, Christmas, travel, health, home cost. The aim is to make your future needs visible. Because Christmas comes every year, annual bills come every year, birthdays come every year. But if we don't plan for them, they feel like emergencies, and then we tell ourselves we're bad with money, when really we just need to have the framework. Savings do not have to start big to be meaningful. They just have to start. Literally, just start wherever you are. Start with £1. Even start with 1p. Make it as small as possible. Just start. Number 4, debt. Debt can be very emotional. It can bring up shame, fear, and avoidance. It can make people feel like they've ruined everything, or like they're too far behind to recover, or like everyone else has secretly figured out money apart from them. But I want to say this clearly, lovely. Debt does not mean you have failed. Debt means something needs a plan. You are not your debt. You are not your credit card balance. You're not the decisions you made in hard season. You're not the survival choices you made when life felt tight, loud, or uncertain. You are a woman who can look, learn, and choose a next step. In your budget, debt needs to be visible. Not because we're shaming it, but because hidden things tend to grow in our minds. What we avoid often becomes scarier than what it actually is. Visibility creates strategy. Strategy creates movement. Movement creates hope. That hope matters. Part 5. Buffer. Honestly, I think this is one of the most important parts of a budget. A buffer is money set aside for life being life. The things you forgot, the extra train journey, the prescription, the school trip letter, the bill that is slightly higher than expected, the random life admin moment that appears out of nowhere and asks for money immediately. Without a buffer, every surprise feels like a crisis. With a buffer, you have a bit of softness, a bit of breathing room, a bit of emotional padding. This is why I sometimes call it peace money. It's not glamorous, it's not dramatic, but it protects your nervous system. It helps you respond instead of panic. and that is powerful. So these are the 5 pillars: bills, joy, money, savings, debt, and buffer. If your budget includes those, it starts to feel less like a punishment chart and more like a care plan for your real life. Point 4, your payday gentle reset. Now let's bring this together in a simple payday routine. When money comes in, you can split it into 5 areas. First, bills, what needs to be paid or set aside. Second, essentials, food, travel, and basic living costs. Third, savings, what can you send to future you? Fourth, debt, what payments are due, and is there anything extra you can safely add? And I mean by minimum payments, I think if you're just in debt right now and you're struggling, then just start with the minimum payments, and then if you can pay extra, then do that. Because you're trying not to stress yourself out. You want to pay off your debt, but you don't want to, you still want to have joy money. And then 5th, joy and buffer. What can you spend guilt-free, and what can you leave aside for unexpected bits? The order may change slightly depending on your life, but the principle is the same. Give your money a job before it disappears. Because that is often what makes money feel stressful. It comes in, it goes out, and you're left thinking, where did it go? A budget helps you answer that before the month runs away from you. Here's a gentle payday reset you can come back to. Check what has come in, list what must go out, set aside your essentials, move something to savings, even if it is small, make your debt visible, decide your joy money, leave a buffer for real life, review your priorities for the month. That is it. Tiny honest steps. You do not need to turn payday into a dramatic performance. You do not need to spend 6 hours like finance day with 17 tabs open and a perfect aesthetic. Like, you need a simple rhythm that helps you feel clearer, anchored, and supported. Let's talk about guilt-free spending, because that matters just as much. So a lot of people think money confidence means spending as little as possible, but I don't believe that. Money confidence means spending in alignment with your values, your season, and your priorities. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means saving. Sometimes it means paying down debt. And sometimes it means buying the coffee, booking the dinner, replacing the shoes, taking the train instead of forcing yourself through a stressful journey, or doing the thing that adds joy to your life. Guilt-free spending is not random spending, it is planned permission. It sounds like I've set aside £40 this week for joy money, and I can use it without attacking myself. That matters because guilt does not make you better with money. Awareness does. Clarity does. Boundaries do. Self-trust does. Because I want to be transparent with you, lovelies, I know that sometimes budgeting can feel especially hard when life already feels full, when your energy is low, when your body feels stretched, when your mind is loud, when you're carrying work, motherhood, business, healing, expectations, and all the invisible emotional admin that women so often hold. On those days, please do not make budgeting another stick to beat yourself with. Let it be a gentle reset, a quiet check-in, a compassionate look at what is true. Listen to your body, pace yourself, set boundaries. If you need to split the task into 10-minute pockets, do that. If you need tea, music, and a soft environment, create it. If you need support, ask for it. This is about building a sustainable relationship with money, not proving how disciplined you can be while feeling depleted. Now I want to be honest about something. Sometimes you can do the budget and realize there is not enough. And that can also feel really hard. So first, take a deep breath. Do not use the budget as a reason to attack yourself. Second, look at what is fixed and what is flexible. Third, ask what can be reduced, what can be paused, what needs support, what needs a conversation, what needs a long-term income plan. Because sometimes the answer is not just cut back. Sometimes the answer is, I need to earn more. I need to renegotiate something. I need help, or I cannot keep saying yes to everything. Budgeting gives you the truth. And the truth may feel uncomfortable, but it is also where your next decision lives. Before you sit down to create your next budget, ask yourself these reflective questions. What is coming in? What must go out? What do I need to live? What can I save? What debt needs a plan? What joy money can I give myself? What buffer would protect my peace? What boundary do I need this month? What will make this budget feel supportive, not restrictive? Those questions create awareness, and awareness is where confident money choices begin. Part 5, summing up, you are not a spreadsheet. So if you want to help creating this kind of budget, I've created the Soft Life Budget Planner. It is designed for women who want to feel calmer and more confident with money without feeling like they're punishing themselves. Inside, you'll be able to organise your bills, joy money, savings, debt, buffer, payday routine, monthly priorities, spending reflections, money boundaries. It is budgeting that feels calm, not punishment. I will leave the link in the show notes and YouTube descriptions, so use it on payday, at the start of the month, or anytime you feel like your money needs a reset. So lovely. Your takeaway today is this. A budget is not a cage. A budget is not punishment. A budget is not proof that you have failed. A budget is a plan for your peace. It gives your money a job. It gives your joy permission. It gives your debt a plan. It gives your savings a purpose. It gives real life a buffer. And it gives you a clear, calmer way to move through the month. You can be good with money without being hard on yourself. You can build financial confidence without shame. You can create a budget that supports the woman you are becoming. Thank you so much for listening to Cappuccinos and Confidence with Nefe, me. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear that budgeting doesn't have to feel restrictive. And do not forget to check out the Soft Life Budget Planner using the link in the description. Until next time, take a breath, check in with your money gently, and remember, you are not a spreadsheet. You are a whole person. Bye for now.